Quite a sight in Alma, New Brunswick today as hundreds of wild Atlantic salmon made their way back into the inner Bay of Fundy. It's a record release for Fundy salmon recovery, which is hoping new technology might help to solve some of the mysteries about this endangered species. CTV's Cami Kepke has more.
Today's salmon release carries hopeful signs for the dwindling Atlantic salmon stock in the Bay of Fundy. 15 years after the species was added to the endangered list, the Fundy Salmon Recovery Project is starting to see more signs of salmon breeding on their own in the rivers of the inner bay.
This river has wild Atlantic salmon spawning in it in large numbers, historic numbers really, and that is providing the ecosystem a level of productivity which it hasn't seen in decades.
Clark says the project found more success when it started releasing adult salmon rather than juveniles, turning to Grand Menad's Cook aquaculture to raise the fish prior to their release. A record 1,000 adult salmon will be back in the wild by the end of the fall, with 800 returning to the bay today. Once the endangered wild Atlantic salmon are in the river, it's up to the University of New Brunswick and Fundy Salmon Recovery to track their movements from there.
We have a sonar camera that runs 24 hours a day, so even in the dark of night, we can detect fish moving by it. Every fish that we've released has a small tag in it, and so when it passes by one of our antennas, we can pick it up and we know if it's moving downstream or upstream.
Of 800 salmon released last year, UNB noted 16 that returned, but says another 8 or so fish may have escaped detection.
That might not sound like a large number, but 16 fish would total more than multiple years put together on most inner Bay of Fundy rivers.
Despite the encouraging signs, young Atlantic salmon still have a less than 1% survival rate when leaving the bay, though the cause of the high mortality rate is unknown. The group hopes improved technology and continued releases will solve some of the mysteries surrounding the endangered species. Cami Kepke, CTV News, Alma, New Brunswick.